Hey everyone, Jeff here from Films at Home, and today we've got to talk about the end of an era in physical media. Hey everyone, thanks for coming back to the channel today for this video, and today I want to talk about a really big change to the world of physical media, and that is the fact that Netflix is shutting down their DVD through the mail service as of September 2023. So some of my younger viewers out there may not realize this, but Netflix actually started out as a company which sent DVDs, physical media, through the mail in these little envelopes, and you could get a couple at a time. You'd have a queue and a list on your Netflix.com account where you would basically say, okay, here's what I want at the top of my list. And when you sent one back, they'd send you the movie that was at the top of your list. If that wasn't available, they go to the next one. It was, basically video rental and DVD rental through the mail. And that's really how Netflix became so large, is that was the core of their business for 10 years before they got into streaming. And my family was a Netflix.com subscriber. We got DVDs through the mail 3 at a time. I watched many movies because of Netflix. I used to go into the queue all the time and rank my movies. It was always sort of like, my parents had a movie, we'd have a movie, me and my brothers, like we were always figuring out which movies we wanted to get. We had 3 at a time on our plan, which is a pretty big plan. And, we kind of found out about it, I want to say like 2003, 2004-ish. It was a kind of a new thing then. It was still gaining steam, but I have very fond memories of getting those DVDs in the mail and getting new movies and being able to watch the latest releases or being able to watch classic movies. And that DVD through the mail thing at a time where, 2003, 4, 5, 2006, when video stores were really shutting down, that was a really great way to get your hands on physical media. So unfortunately, after 25 years or so in service, Netflix announced that they are going to shut this service down as of this year, September 2023. They will be shipping DVDs and Blu-rays out up until that point, but after that, they're done. So Netflix becomes a 100% streaming company, and they no longer have what they were calling now DVD.com. That arm of their business is closed. That's going to end. And I think that this could have a serious impact on the physical media market. And I want to talk about a few things that I see coming out of this. So the first thing is that they still had a few million subscribers to this service. I know people reached out to me over the last couple of days when this news broke, and they said, hey, I'm a subscriber. This really sucks. I get Blu-rays. They were shipping out Blu-rays. They never did 4Ks, but they did 1080p Blu-ray and DVDs, and you could get them consistently through the mail. You watch one, you send it back, you get a new one. I mean, it was like really like an on-demand physical media service that a fair chunk of people were still taking advantage of to try out new movies and then, determine, am I going to buy this or not? Or maybe that was the only way they got their physical media. So shutting this down is going to have a huge impact on those people, and I'll be very curious to see if that ends up creating more physical media buyers, like more consumers, because there could be people out there who have been getting DVDs and Blu-rays consistently for 10, 15 years through Netflix, and now that that is shutting down, well, maybe instead of renting, they go out and start buying some discs, and that could find a whole new wave of physical media enthusiasts and consumers that were so tied into Netflix system, and now they're trying to find a new outlet for their physical media. I also think that this will have a huge impact on sales numbers, and I look at these sales numbers every week from Media Play News, and we always see how prevalent DVD is. Still 50-60% of the total physical media market is DVD, 480p DVD sales. And I don't know this for sure, but part of my theory has always been that libraries buy a ton of DVDs, and you know how many libraries there are across the country, and every time a new release comes out, some of them might get the Blu-ray. I'd bet none of them get the 4K disc unless you specifically request it, and I would say almost all of them get the DVD. They always have the latest DVD. Blu-ray and 4K, you'd have to be very lucky. So that's a ton of sales. But also where there's a ton of sales was to this Netflix DVD service. I mean, they were still serving millions of subscribers, and it may have only been a couple of million of subscribers, but if you have a new movie that releases, they need to stock up on the DVDs and they need to stock up on even the Blu-rays. But I would say their service was still primarily DVD dominated, and that goes for, TV shows that people wanted to rent, new release movies, all this different stuff that they'd buy consistently every week could also pump up those numbers. And I mentioned them as recently as like last week in some of my videos, talking about how many DVDs they probably buy to keep up this service, and where physical media has shrunk so much. Even if they bought 1,000 DVDs of a title, that could skew those numbers one way or another. So it'll be interesting to see how big an impact that has on like the sales and the market share when that drops out. I don't even know if those are considered sales per se, or if they're just looking at consumer numbers from retailers. But if you look at market share, I have to assume that they may have played a part in that, and it'll be interesting to see if DVD starts to fall back a little bit with them not buying so many. Now, the other thing that I think is a big change here, and the last thing I want to cover, is that this really, unfortunately, removes physical media access for a fair amount of people. I know there are people out there who don't have an easy time getting their hands on physical media, and being able to have a service like this with a massive database of literally, hundreds of thousands of movies. It was a real accessible point for many people who didn't have local video stores. I mean, some of the stuff that Netflix had, I bet you'd even have a hard time finding on Amazon these days. You might be able to find them on eBay. Like, they're not super accessible, but Netflix had all this stuff in their massive library of DVDs and Blu-rays. And so I do wonder, what happens to those people? Do they just drop off? Do they just go to streaming? Do they just say forget it? Or do they seek out other methods? Are there other ways? Do we see libraries start to rent out more DVDs? I'm super curious, like where that person who 100% relied on this Netflix service goes, because it is a couple of million people. And if we can get a couple of million people into the physical media market as buyers instead of as renters through Netflix, that could change things dramatically. Even if half of them, even if 10% of them started buying more discs because they didn't have that rental option anymore, that could be huge. And so, basically this was the last rental service for, I'd say, like 98% of people. Like, if you still have a local video rental store, you're very, very lucky and you're in the minority. And yes, I know Redbox is a thing, but here's the map of Redbox locations. Sure, lots of them around major population areas, but look at the Midwest. There's millions of people out there who don't have access. So these people either become streaming enthusiasts and they stream everything, they buy digital copies, or they start going out and buying DVDs and Blu-rays on Amazon, Walmart, wherever. We'll see what happens, but could be a big shift. So, a lot of people were like, this is another nail in the coffin for physical media, all that. I mean, I really just don't see it that way. I see it as a natural progression. I'm actually shocked that Netflix DVD and DVD.com lasted as long as they did. But, for a company that has primarily focused on their technology and their streaming, of which they are one of the best at, it makes sense. Like, why do you have this physical arm that you're trying to keep up to date, and you've got to have warehouses full of discs and people working to ship these out? And, there's a lot of overhead cost, I'm sure, to having all of that. And, everyone's looking to try to find profits right now. And so, unfortunately that was shut down. But I think it just shifts. I think it just means people have to shift. And if they truly cared about their physical media and their DVDs and their Blu-rays, I know it's unfortunate that you can't rent these anymore and at least give them a try. But you know what? It should mean, like, maybe you're out buying more used copies. Maybe you're out searching for your TV shows on DVD or Blu-ray. Maybe you get interested and you upgrade to 4K because you find out that's the latest format and you've been missing out on it through Netflix. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but I see it as just a neutral. I don't see it as a negative. I don't see it certainly as a positive, because a lot of people are losing access. But it's somewhere in the middle. We have to see how this shakes out. But I am looking at it sort of with a glass half full look, that maybe this will help more people find the joy in buying, in owning physical media. And if that's the case, then this could be not such a bad thing. So that's my 2 cents on it. If you want more information, DVD.com, they have a press release out from like the CEO, the guy who was managing that. he talks a little bit about the story and just gave a little press release on why they're doing it and how things are shifting. But if you subscribed, you keep getting stuff until September. I think it's like late September of 2023. So you've got, I don't know, 5 more months to enjoy it. So make the most of it, I guess. Get as many discs as you can while you still have access, and then I'd say definitely start looking in ways you can shift and move your priorities, and maybe you go to streaming and that's fine. But if you are interested in physical media and you do want to learn more about what's going on in this world, my channel and many others here on YouTube are a great resource to help you get started. So if you're interested, make sure you're subscribed here so you don't miss any of my reviews, my videos on topics like this, anything home entertainment, physical media related. That's all going to be right here on Films at Home. And you can follow me on social media as well. And if you want to dive deeper, we've got the Films at Home podcast where I talk to lots of industry people and we talk about trends and what's happening in this world. So it's all there for you. All the resources are here. And if you're somebody who's already been following for a long time, I'm sorry this is shutting down. I know that sucks, but if you want any help or any assistance on where to shift from renting to buying, I can certainly help with that too. So reach out. Don't be afraid to send me a message on social media. I'd be happy to help. So thanks for watching this quick video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It was informative and gave you a little bit of my opinion and insights on what's going to happen here with Netflix and DVD. But we'll see how it shakes out, and I'll keep you all updated if I hear anything. But thank you for watching. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe and stay healthy out there, and I will talk to you soon.